The richly decorated main hall of Kadriorg Castle is full of symbols and allegories that glorify the ruler's power and virtues, as well as the tsarist state's might and victories in the Great Northern War. The plots and iconographic models for the large and 4 small ceiling paintings, as well as the rest of decorations for the main floor, were determined by Peter the Great and architect Nicola Michetti. Based on the archival documents, we know that the subjects were selected from the books of the ancient Roman writer Ovid and the historian Tacitus. The indirect exemplar for the ceiling painting, executed by local master Londicer the Younger, is the great Dutch master Rembrandt's painting Diana Bathing. However, the direct visual source is an engraving by Magdalena de Passe, a Dutch female artist that partly reproduces the painting and was printed as an illustration in the Brussels edition of Ovid's Metamorphoses. In his work Metamorphoses, the ancient Roman poet Ovid describes the meeting of the hunting goddess Diana and the hunter Actaeon. The chaste goddess punished the hunter, who had disturbed her bath, by transforming into a deer. The hunting dogs, who no longer recognized their master and thought he was prey, tore Actaeon to pieces. In the 18th century, art associated with the Russian court, the motif of Diana and Actaeon, was used as an allegory for the Great Northern War. The subject of the painting should be interpreted as a topical jibe at Sweden and Charles VII, who, like the ancient hunter Actaeon, had come too close to Diana, or divine Russia, in the Great Northern War, and therefore suffered a great defeat. The goddess Diana was often depicted with nymphs, who usually embodied conquered castles and cities. The 4 small emblematic paintings in the Great Hall were based on the engravings of the tapestries woven in Paris in praise of Louis XIV. Prints of the ornamentation and emblems that edged the tapestry became very popular and were widely distributed outside the French cultural space. Since the Kadriorg Palace was a summer residence, the emblems for spring and summer were featured in its Great Hall. In addition to the symbolism related to the seasons, the paintings also convey the imperialist ideology of Peter the Great. A sheaf of grain placed above the monogram of Peter the Great, along with the Latin motto Vitae meliorus in usum, the better use of life, symbolizes the Russian Empire, to which the Baltic provinces and areas around the Caspian Sea were annexed as individual stalks during Peter the Great's reign. The paintings with the lily and the swallow form a thematic pair. In both Christian art and secular tradition, the lily is a symbol of purity and royalty. The image of a lily in the castle alludes to the emperor's promise to rule honestly and with dignity. The motto above the swallow, et tempora laeta reducit, and brings back better times, alludes to the expectation of peace and a new prosperity after the Great Northern War. However, the red rose with the motto Juncta arma decori, arms joined by beauty, is a gallant compliment to Catherine, the wife of Peter the Great, to whom the palace is dedicated.